The Court of Appeal has ruled that bus companies aren't legally required to force parents with pushchairs to make way for people using wheelchairs. It began when a wheelchair user, Doug Pawley, was told he couldn't get on a First Bus in Leeds because her mum refused to move her child's buggy. He sued First Bus and won, but today judges overturned that decision. Well, First Bus says it recognised the importance of making bus services accessible for all customers, and its current policy of requesting but not requiring will remain in place. Well, let's talk about this now. I'm joined by Jeffrey Harvey, who's from the campaign group Transport for All and uses a power wheelchair. And alongside him is Kate Williams from Mumsnet. Good evening to you both. Jeffrey, what do you think about today's ruling?
Well, it's kind of disappointing. It seems that the judges indicate that my right to travel is sort of secondary to the convenience of someone who might not want to fold their buggy or move their luggage.
In your experience, though, would mums using buggies tend to try and help out?
The majority do, yes. They're all too happy to either fold the buggy or to just get off the bus. But the rules are there because of the few who just think it's inconvenient, and they'd rather not put the effort, or they want to put their shopping there in the wheelchair space.
Is it their fault, or do you think there's a problem with the design of buses, for example?
Well, buses could definitely be designed better, have more space. Like I think in Brighton they have 2 wheelchair spaces, and I think that people should be accommodating to the people who need to travel that way.
Kate, what are your mums saying to you on Mumsnet about this?
Well, they're very disappointed, actually. There was a lot of support for the original ruling that wheelchair spaces should be given to wheelchair users and that they should have priority. So, yeah, lots of disappointed people. And, of course, it's important to remember that lots of Mumsnetters are either themselves wheelchair users or have children who are wheelchair users. For parents with buggies, yes, everyone keeps their fingers crossed and hopes that there's going to be a space, but ultimately Mumsnetters are very clear that priority should always be given to wheelchair users in this kind of situation.
It's a good thing that plenty of people want to use buses, isn't it? I mean, that's the first thing to say. People using public transport, whatever their ability or not. But surely, like I said to Jeffrey there, the bus companies need to look at their designs, don't they? I
think possibly that is exactly what needs to happen, yes. It's not always easy when you've got maybe a little one, a 2-year-old, and a small baby, and a big buggy, and some shopping. Yes, it could certainly be, there could certainly be more space for everyone. But as things stand at the moment, I think it was helpful when there was clarity. Most parents would acknowledge that ultimately they have a choice to fold up the buggy or not, to get off the bus or not, and they have the ability to do so. Of course, wheelchair users don't have that choice and they don't have that ability. So ultimately, you've got to do the right thing.
Yeah, buggies are pretty big as well, and big and bulky, and it'd be perhaps a bit nicer if they were a bit smaller.
That's true.
Jeffrey, back to you. I mean, bus companies now have to do everything short of evicting. Is that in some way, small compensation?
Yeah, there's a little bright spot in the ruling that bus companies have to take all reasonable steps. Yeah. They have to do more training. They can even wait and not move the bus until they've given a reasonable shot at asking someone to clear the space. And I think that's positive, and they can be sued for damages if they don't do that.
I know very briefly we talked before about how it's a bit of a roller coaster ride going out there for you to get a bus. You never know whether you're going to get on one or the next one. Indeed, bit of a bright spot. Do people tend to help you out if they see that the bus driver's not going to help you out?
Generally, yeah. I mean, on my way here today, that happened. The driver said there were 2 buggies in the space, and he didn't want to ask them. He said I could ask them, which I can't.
Yeah.
I can't get there to ask them. And the passenger just became my advocate and asked the people to move, and they did.